But I really want to tell them, like, what you have now, it feels good, it won't last. I don't see it lasting, the silliness of what you're doing.
Hey. It's another edition of the Sit Down at Uptown. The Sit Down at Uptown here. I'm your host, Angelo Sykes, and the owner of Uptown Comedy Corner. As you know, we bring all of our great comedians to the stage, man, and talk to them a little bit about themselves. And tonight, we got a little different spiel, man. We got one of these OGs in the comedy game. You know, man, we got a guy who's been around, done it all. Mr. Pierre Edwards in the building. How you doing, brother?
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I only go by Pierre, but that's okay. You don't call Beyonce Knowles, motherfucker. You don't call Sade a dude, nigga. So it's just Pierre. But I'll let you slip because you the boss.
I appreciate that, man.
No,
I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for continuously having me, man. You've had me come to your club for years, man. So I really appreciate that, brother. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? For real. So this was an honor to be here. So let's rock
deal,
out, man. Whatever you need to know, let's talk about it.
Let's do it, man. So, Pierre, you know, on my interviews, man, I always like to go backwards first.
Okay.
All right? So let's take a trip back, man. You know, I know you're known as Pierre. But I want to talk about young Pierre Edwards for a minute. You know what I mean? Let's talk about the kid, where you grew up. Let's talk about your upbringing, things of that nature.
I'm from, my mother's white and my father was black. She's German. My parents met while he was in the service in Texas. They had me, and like 2 weeks later, we moved to Germany. And so I stayed in Germany from when I was, 2 weeks old to 11 years old. So I had a different, background, seeing different things. Because, growing up in Germany in the service, as you know, you get around multicultural people, Asian, black. We all go to school together. We went all to school together and played. And believe it or not, it wasn't until I came to D.C. My parents moved me to Washington, D.C. before they came they stayed back for a year. They moved me to Washington, D.C., and I moved into the hood, the hood of Washington, D.C. And that's the first time I ever realized, like, racism and, like the young black people say, hey, you on our side or you on their side, nigga? Make a choice.
Make a choice,
Make a choice, homie. What you gonna do over there? And so I made a choice, and I'm happy with the choice I made with, and so I grew up in D.C. after that, went to school, like I said, regular schools and stuff. Got teased a lot, being light skinned, had long flowing hair and shit, They, it was something else. I had to learn what we was called Joan, talk about each other and shit with Joan. And that was my defense mechanism, you know what I'm saying? People start teasing me, and I was really good and quick with it. And so I knew I had, a comedy something, because even when I was in Germany, my mother would let me perform in front of guests that come to the house and stuff. I'd act crazy and stuff. And sometimes the soldiers would say they're like, we used to have in the middle of our little city, a little town or whatever, we had a water fountain, like faucet, whatever, water thing. And all the soldiers would gather around there, and they would see the German women walking around, and they would send me over there, give me 10, 50 cents or whatever and shit to go talk to that girl, tell her come on over here, and I'd run over there and act crazy and say whatever. So I was always with the entertainment, you know what I'm saying? I always had a thing of doing, being an entertainer, and so when I came to D.C., the Jonan was the part, and it was a dope existence, moving from Germany to D.C. I guess it was a total culture shock, but it was kind of, I'm not going to use the word refreshing. It was different. Like, okay, this is different than what I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? It really changed from coming from Germany to DC.
Right.
Yep.
Nah, I mean that's a fact, man. I used to live in Germany as well, and coming over. Now I used to live in the States first though, so a little different. But but I saw the transition. When I moved from Germany, I moved to Dallas, Texas.
Oh, okay.
So moving from Germany to Oak Cliff
Oak Cliff, that's a hood.
Was like night and day.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
So I know exactly what you're talking
about.
about.
Shout out to the Big T's Bazaar. It's a swap meet down. I've been there a couple of times in Texas, but so you get it. You get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I saw you were born in Killeen, which is near Fort Hood.
Fort Hood, that's where I was born.
That's where you were born. Okay, that's crazy. Yeah. I used to live down there as well.
Did you really?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah. I was third, fourth grade. I was in Fort Hood, Texas.
Okay.
So that's wild. So you made this transition from Germany to D.C., right? What kind of student were you?
I was actually a really good student. Really good student. In fact, people don't know this. I ain't told nobody. They still do Good Morning America? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't watch this. But back in the days, they had a competition of like building something. You had to build something out of stuff and whatever whatever you built. If you built like a science project, it was like a science thing, and I wound up winning. I built a Model T car out of like a dominoes for the wheels. You remember that glass, that little glass you do on the microscope glass?
Okay.
That was the front window and shit.
Oh, wow.
I built all this little thing. I built it, and I wound up winning. I won a calculator, right? That was big shit, right? Calculator. And then it went to like, I won in like the D.C. region. Then it went to the tri-state, D.C.,
Okay.
Maryland, Virginia. And then they filmed us at like a fair on the lawn, Memorial Lawn or whatever it was in D.C., the lawn, and Good Morning America was there, and they talked to us a little bit. So I was like, first, I remember they taped it, and then the next morning I think it came on. I was up at like 6 in the morning watching, and I saw like 4 seconds of me and shit. I was like, man, hold on, man, all that talking, I'm stepping in. Yeah, it was crazy, but that was the first time I got a bite of like,
TV
I'm on TV,
life, right?
I'm on TV.
Yeah.
My aunt and uncle never was watching it. It was a little bit. Okay, that's it. So I learned, but that was really cool. I was a really good student. So good in D.C. that when my parents came a year later, we moved to Maryland. They put me in like the gifted I was in the gifted class. It was called Gifted and Talented, whatever it was called. I was in that in D.C. And no disrespect to D.C., but maybe you had to be that gifted and talented to be in that motherfucker. But I was in the bitch. But when we moved to Maryland, they put me with the white folks.
Yeah.
Nigga, they sent me right back to regular class. There ain't no sir, nigga. You ain't that talented. Take your ass back to where you came from. I'm back with the kids just banging on shit. My grades was dropping like shit in that white school. It was like, no sir. You might be gifted and talented with them niggas over there, but you ain't really white folks and shit.
A little different over here.
The Asian and white folks were totally different and shit. I was like algebra, nigga. I damn near what 1 + 1 is and shit. You got me in algebra class and all this kind of stuff. So yeah.
Hilarious.
So yeah.
So did you do any extracurricular while you were in school? Sports, anything like that?
I played football.
Okay.
I played football. I played little league football, and I played junior high school. Junior varsity in high school, and then but I was an average player. You know what I'm saying? Average, yeah. Mine was mostly just being funny. I was so funny, like in school, like the drug dealers, would like have me Joan on people coming through, because there was a thing like walk down this hallway, because we had annexes, of the class.
Yeah.
So you walk down and then had a T, and then you had to go to your classes, more classes this way and classes this way, and at that T, it had a heater. And everybody would sit on that sucker and just wait for people to come down and I would eat niggas up. What? I know them shoes you got on. Oh boy, what that shit big? And all the drug dealers were like, let me do this shit. And I had one time my cousin, because I had a class off the annex, off that. And so when the bell about to ring, I go to my class. One day I didn't see him, and I got to class. I said, what the hell you been? This nigga went around the whole building and shit to go. He didn't want to go down that, get Joan. He went to the back door. I was like, where you coming? He said, man, fuck that. I went to the back because you holding court in there. I was a really good joner.
Really?
Yeah. I learned how to box. I was a boxer too. I started boxing when I was 15.
Okay.
But Jonah got me out of fights, a lot of situations and stuff. Yeah, I got him mad. I used to always do that one thing, like I give you one eye now. All right now.
So you better take that one.
That's the one. You get the one eye now for me. After that, it's like, okay, I know I got a big ass forehead, nigga, but all right now.
Right.
What are those? What are them? And then, oh man, what that bullshit, nigga? Fuck you. You don't get mad now, motherfucker. I gave you all right now.
Right, I gave you the eye now.
Yeah, all right now.
Too funny. What'd you do after high school?
In fact, I started doing comedy in high school. I was 17 years old, and I was in a vocational class too. The school I went to, we had like trade, like you do trades and stuff, and one day I was done. Like you have projects that got to be done on Friday. I was done by Thursday. So Friday, while other kids are working and stuff, I could sit around. I'd watch look at the newspaper, the weekend newspaper, the Friday paper, and look at the new weekend section. And I was looking at it, and I saw open mic night, comedy night. And this was the time when Eddie Murphy was popular, you know what I'm saying, with the red suit on and stuff like that. And I was like, there's a place to do, I didn't know what the comedy was. I Joan. I don't know how to do jokes and shit. So I went down there, and it was on a Friday night, and this guy his name is Kevin Lee. Shout out to Kevin Lee. He's a what do you call it, flip balls and shit, and what do you call it, a juggler, like a juggler comedian. Very funny guy. And he was a feature act. And so he's the only black one on the show. So between shows, I went and started talking to him. I said, yo, so how do you do this? How do you get into the comedy stuff? He said, go home and write 5 minutes of jokes and come back on Thursday, open mic night. I was like, all right. And I got my car and I was driving. I was like, what the hell is 5 minutes of joke? What is that? And I was like, I can joke. I joke for 5 minutes? Like, I didn't know the concept of a joke.
Okay.
And Stephen Wright, I never really told this story, but Stephen Wright and Rodney Dangerfield had albums out. I don't know if you know a guy named Stephen Wright, kind of deadpan. For those who don't know him, he was on Half Baked. He was the dude laying on the couch all the time with an afro. Very popular comedian back in the day. He had an album out, very deadpan, and Rodney Dangerfield. So what I did was I took their jokes and turned them into black versions of stuff. And so I didn't know. So I went to open mic night that next Thursday, and you had to draw numbers. And I was like number 6, 7, whatever. And I killed.
Really?
They were like, you funny as hell. I'm like, well, I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the concept of stealing joke, whatever. They were like, man, you funny as hell, man. I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. And so, because people weren't really, they didn't listen to the albums or whatever.
Right.
So it wasn't like, oh, you did that. And how I changed out that transition was I did it for like 3 or 4 months. Those material, the little 5 minutes. And 5 minutes was a long time.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young and 5 minutes is a long time. Now I can't even, take me 5 minutes to get on stage and shit. You know what I'm saying? Say hello to the crowd because I'm so comfortable now.
Right.
But what happened was you sign up at 6 o'clock and then 9 o'clock was the show. So you draw numbers at 6 and come back at 9 to do the show. So you had 3 hours to do something, whatever you want. I would go back home, change my clothes, and we talking about everybody was there too at that time. Dave Chappelle, Tony Woods, all of them, Martin Lawrence, we were all in there doing that. And I went home, I had number 7, or whatever number it was. I went home and was coming back and coming back and got pulled over by the police. And they gave me a ticket, I was kind of pissed off. And so when I got there, the MC was like, yo, you about to go on next, come on, let's go. And I don't know. So I get on stage and I talk about what just happened. I was pissed off.
Right.
And people were laughing. And I'm like, y'all laughing at this? This is what just happened. I made it fun. Like, it's fucked up. The cop did it. They were laughing and stuff. I said, hold on, I can do my own material.
Wow.
I can do my own shit. Like y'all laugh at stuff I say.
Yeah.
And then I started taking the jokes out. Like I had maybe 8 jokes from them, the other comedians and stuff. I started taking each joke out. Before I know it, after a little while, I had my own.
You built your own set.
Yeah, man, my own 5 minutes and shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's wild, man. That's wild. Mm-hmm. So you looked into the paper. So did you know at this point that you wanted to be a comedian, or what led you to even going to open mic in the first place?
Well, I was funny. Like I said, I liked attention in class. I liked attention. I saw what Eddie Murphy did. That's stand-up comedy. I can see some white boys with a sport coat on them back in them days. It was corny on TV. And I knew I didn't want a job, day job. I'll tell you that much. And my family was pushing me to a day job because, again, it's D.C., the government. Get yourself a good-ass job in the government, sir. Boys, you get you a job. You get to retire after 30 years and they give you a little check and shit, you gonna be all right. Hell no. Everybody knew that worked for the government wasn't happy.
Right.
So I didn't want to do that. And I was like, So I just saw what an open mic comedy club was. I just wanted to see what it was, But I went on a Friday where it was a regular show.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I said, well, let me go down here on this Friday night and just see what it is. Just see what a comedy club looked like. And that's how it was. So, yeah, I just knew I didn't want a regular day job.
Gotcha. So at what point did you know immediately that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? Or what point when you got on stage when you sat and was like, this is it, this is me?
That's just a good question. Instantly, I knew that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. Remember, I told you I did very well the first time I went up.
Yeah.
And bombed for weeks at a time. My shit was clicking right, boom. I have a lot of personality, energy.
Right.
Just me talking fast, the whole thing worked for people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was kind of, I don't say hard for me to bomb, but I got too much energy. You know what I'm saying? And so instantly, I just knew this is easy. This is the shit. Go up here and make people laugh, and I was hooked from there.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if I knew it was a career. I didn't know because I knew I wanted it, but I didn't know how to go about getting it to be a career. I know it could be funny, but I didn't know there was bookers and all that kind of stuff. You can live in like that. You know what I'm saying? Only people I saw was big stars.
Okay.
And the open micers I was with, they weren't famous.
Right.
So anybody I saw was normally. I remember I didn't go to comedy clubs and watch other older comedians. I just saw Eddie Murphy, Arsenio, whoever it was, Robert Rodriguez, whatever his name, I forgot. People like that.
Yeah.
Jay Leno and shit on shows on the Tonight Show. I saw that, but that wasn't me. I'm young. Eddie Murphy was the first person I said, hold on, a young nigga do this too? You know what I'm saying? Because everyone else, Bill Cosby's old and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was an old man thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Young people don't do that. Until I saw Eddie Murphy, I said, hold on. Because at the time, I think he was about 22 or 23.
Had to be young too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, hold on, a cocky young dude like that, and we out here? So, yeah.
So how did you transition then from just open mics and to actually building sets and doing traveling? Like, did you have somebody kind of work with you? Like, how'd you transition?
No, man. Again, it's so much different now. You could be around for 5 years not making no money.
Right.
Nah, dollar, okay?
Yeah.
For 5 years. You just had to work it out, you know what I'm saying? Because, first of all, wasn't that many places to go. Places that were, paying for the white people who've been around for a while. So you young, they give you a little scrap and you go on last, you know what I'm saying? My father did this, I might have told people this. My father wasn't really for it, you know what I'm saying? He's an Army guy. He's like, get your ass a job, regular job. This comedy shit is ridiculous. But he used to put the chain on the door at night if I wasn't home by 12 o'clock.
Wow.
So, and back then, when you were a young comic, you could draw a name sometimes, and other times, they let the big, better comics go first.
Yeah.
And then after about 11 o'clock, they let the scrubs come back, which I was part of that, So I wouldn't make it home after 12 o'clock after that. Luckily, me and my sister shared a phone. So I had to call her sometimes. And I had a brick back then. Remember them brick phones and shit?
Right.
Oh, yeah. Remember,
Absolutely.
It came with a holster. Every time I reached for it, everybody ducked down, thought I was going to shoot the place up. Like, no, nigga, I'm making a call. Beep, bop, boop, boop, beep, boop, bop, boop, boop, boop. Okay, straight off of New Jack City and shit, you know what I'm saying? But I had to call her up, and then she would wake up and go downstairs and take the chain off and then get down. I was like, man,
Wow.
It was that was a lot. I did that a lot of times. Rush trying to get home before, speeding, trying to get home before 12 o'clock. My father he was with the shits, okay, with the damn chain on the door and stuff. So, it took like 5 years. I remember one time the first time I got paid. Martin was the first time he got paid. We did a Bally's. Remember, Bally's was like LA Fitness back in the days, and they had like a little place where you could eat and whatever. And they put a little microphone stand and up right there. And I got $15, and Martin got 50. The first time we got paid doing comedy.
Really?
So that was the first time. Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, got paid. I remember the promoter. He's a comedian / promoter, Italian guy. He's like, I'm the first one that ever paid you. I'm like, yeah, nigga, give me that $15, motherfucker. Shit, give me my money, okay? Run me my money.
Right.
And so that was I kept doing that again, and we get a little $75 here and $50 here. And somebody tell you about a gig, and let me tell you, we had to go every place, places that they were dancing and shit.
Right.
We got a comic now. Get off the dance floor. What the fuck? What comic? And people pissed off and shit.
Right.
How y'all doing? Get the fuck on. Get that song back on. Hold on, man. Let me get this joke on. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like conducive for comedy all the time. It was whatever happened. You want that $50, man. We talking about. I started in '85.
Yeah.
I was young. So I was making a little money like that, but I kept a day job. I do construction. I knew how to build decks and construction and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really handy with my hands. So I always kept it as a day job, and at night I would do that. And I always wanted to tell myself, my mother wanted me to go to the government so bad. My father got remarried, and my mother went back to Germany. So my black mother, she worked for the government, and she was like, "I get you in the government, get you in the government." And I never wanted that. So every job I took, I knew it wasn't a longevity job. You know what I'm saying? I did a couple of crazy shit, working landscaping, building decks, construction. I just knew I could walk away from it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw the success of Martin and Tommy. They had moved to Hollywood, and Martin did House Party, and Tommy did In Living Color, the pilot. And my manager at the time used to manage Tommy, so we decided to fly out and watch him do the pilot. And it was crazy, man. I pulled up to Fox Studio and shit. I'm like, damn, you see posters of movies like, this is the shit. Because I saw them, even coming there seeing palm trees, like, oh shit, I'm here.
Right.
I made it and stuff, And I got a picture, man. I had polka dot. That's back when polka dots were popular.
Yeah.
I had polka dot socks. I had patent leather shoes with the silver laces, things across the leg. It was terrible, man. I look a hot mess and shit. It was like 1990, I think it was 89. I think 89.
Yeah.
And I went to see, on the set, and the first show they ever did in Living Color was they did Men on Films. The first one, Men on Films, and then they did Love Connection with Robin Givens and Mike Tyson.
Right.
Remember that? That was a pilot. The first episode. Yeah, it was the first episode. And we were there cheering and clapping, watching it. And Martin, every time, and between breaks, whoever was a comedian would come out, between set breaks and stuff like that, and do a little material. Jim Carrey did the arm thing around his name was James Carrey back then. Yeah, he put an arm around and do all that goofy shit and stuff. We're like, damn, crazy motherfucker right here.
Right.
And Tommy went in there, he was doing all the impressions of Sammy Davis Jr., rocking the place and shit. It was really dope. I was like, man, that's my boy from DC. He in LA doing it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got pictures of that time. And then Martin was like, yo, yeah, come to LA, man. Fuck DC, come to LA. And he said, I said, all right, I'll be back in a year. And I went back home and saved up my little money and all my stuff together. My mind was focused on coming back to LA, and I went to LA a year later.
Wow. So how did the Def Jam come about?
I was in L.A. doing comedy, and I was pretty good. Whatever, just however you want to know. The owner liked me at the comedy club. It's called the Comedy Act Theater, where Robin Harris was, but he had passed away.
Right.
So Joe Torre and DL were the host or whatever. And Def Jam, that a lot of people don't know, was they taped like I think 6 shows first. You know how you tape a show first. Then they found out it was so well. They hadn't shown it yet, but they just did well. It looked good, whatever. So they went back and looked for 6 more to make a complete season.
Okay.
And when they came back, they were looking for comedians and asked. And the club owner from the Comedy Act Theater was like, "You got to look at this guy named William Wilson and Pierre." Yeah, and I was like, and so they called me. The owner was like, "Yo, some people from Def Jam want to see you." And remember, it hadn't aired yet, so we didn't know what it was. He said, "Yeah, they want to look, want to look at you." I was like, "All right," because back then the rage was Apollo. Everybody wanted to get on Apollo. That was the only thing on TV that you could get to. That or Star Search and shit. But that was a whole Star Search was a different thing. Apollo more you get black people get on that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when they told me he got a show, I heard it was on HBO. It was okay, and I hadn't seen nothing. So I went up, I performed, and did really well. And I got off. A guy named Bob Sumner. Shout out to Bob Sumner. He said, "Yo, man, you're going to New York, man. I'm gonna put you on Def Jam." I was like, "Okay, cool." I was happy, but I still didn't know the magnitude of it.
Gotcha.
And I remember flying it. I was on a plane with DL, Simply Marvelous, Simply Marvelous.
Yeah, sure.
I think it was AJ Jamal, and a couple of us coming out of LA. And we had so I get there, we land. It was cold as hell too in New York. And in New York, all we knew about the Apollo, and it was a rough crowd. People like, "Man, New York don't be playing.
Right.
You better come with your A game in LA. I mean, in New York, motherfucker, calm down." Shit. It was like, yeah. And so I remember going to the hotel. They picked us up. It was cold. It might have been in February, and we filmed. And I remember how cold it was when I got off. Because remember, I'm coming from L.A.
Okay.
So I got there, it was cold as hell. And I jacket like this, motherfucker. What the fuck I'm doing here? And I remember the little fun things that maybe comics would appreciate. I get to the hotel, and it's the first time somebody really taking care of me, like bring me somewhere, and hotel, and it really is a different feel. And they gave me $150 per diem. I'm like, "Oh shit, $150." And I got a a laminate. I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Right. You walking around New York, like, "Shit, I got the laminate on and shit. I got $150 too, my nigga, to eat." And then the nigga eating hot dogs and what do you call it? Candy bars. You trying to save that money and shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna spend my $8 this month, $150. I'm bringing the rest back home.
I'll take that home with me.
Hell yeah, nigga. I'm at craft services eating dinner there and grapes and shit, nigga. I ain't fucking this $150 up. I'm bringing $140 back home.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went there and I remember walking. We go to rehearsal first. And they tell you how the show goes, and Martin's there. Well, I talked to Martin, and he was working on Boomerang at the time. With Boomerang at the time, right? And he was telling us about he was making I think he was making $17,000 an episode for Def Jam back then.
Wow.
One more time, 17,000. I got 150. I'm holding on to, nigga. Okay. Fuck that. I was like 17,000, nigga. What?
Wow.
Okay. And the story I heard was, the show was really meant for Robin Harris. Yeah, but he passed away.
Yeah.
And so Russell Simmons was asking who else could take his place. They were thinking about Damon Wayans. They thought about Arsenio Hall. And it came to because Eddie Murphy, Spike Lee taught, not Spike Lee, who did I just say? Russell Simmons talked to Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy said, "I'm working with a guy named Martin Lawrence, on Boomerang."
Yeah.
We just cast him. And so they came and saw him in L.A. and then they picked him at the comedy club that Robin Harris used to be at. But it was Robin Harris's
Is that right?
joint first. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's some history right there.
Well, there it is. So yeah, and I remember walking up to the, so we get the rehearsal, we leave and go back and get our clothes. And I had my little shit on, my little jean jacket and jean thing on a little, what do you call it, little thing, umbrella. I mean, what do you call it? A hanger thing. And I'm walking. And we had, I remember this club called the Academy Theater in Manhattan. It was so packed, the line was waiting all down the side of the building. It was snowing too. But you know how sometimes the side of a theater is a door right there?
Yeah.
So you got to ask people, park your way so we can go in. I'm walking and shit. And you see niggas mean mugging you and shit, looking at you while you walk. I'm like, "Hello there. Hey there. I'm here for Def Comedy down there." Like, with hoodies on and, and these were the girls and shit. Okay, Timberland boots and shit. I'm like, "Damn, I'm a rough boy." I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Y'all got to move back. They got to let people come in to Def Comedy." I'm like, "Man, I don't know who the fuck is you, nigga." I'm like, "Oh my God." So they had an aura of intimidation in New York, you know what I'm saying? Gotcha. So we went in there. But a lot of people don't know that they taped 5 comedians, and whoever wasn't the best got the hell up off the show. They didn't. So pressure was on to be funny. Yeah, that's why y'all didn't see when Bernie Mac did I Ain't Afraid of You, whatever. the comic in front of him, bomb, named Butch Burns, a friend of mine from D.C., an older cat now. He was about 42. Them were youngsters and shit, so it didn't work out, whatever it was. So when Bernie said, I ain't afraid of you, because they had just booed him.
Oh,
so
you
ain't get to see that.
You ain't get to see
cut him out.
that. Because he wonder why, because he came out there raw and ready.
Right. And for him to say, I ain't afraid of y'all, that's what made it click. Like, oh, you know, like he said, I ain't afraid of y'all. Y'all done booed him, but I ain't afraid of y'all. That's why the crowd was perfect for
That's
it.
crazy, Pierre. Some more history, man.
Yeah, I thought yeah.
And that's good stuff, because you never knew why he came out like that, but that's how like it came. That's interesting. So you did well, obviously. You obviously got aired, right?
Yeah,
So is that when things kind of started changing directions?
Oh yeah. The joke about being shot at McDonald's today is still mentioned, and it's actually a real thing. I got shot at McDonald's in D.C. in Maryland 3 times, but that joke just took off. Like some jokes, just hang. And so I started getting a lot of work from there, a lot of colleges, just work. So I pretty much, I was working at the bank, and I quit the bank, pretty much, once I noticed I was making just as much money doing comedy as I was doing a regular job, I can survive on a regular job. So I was like, hold on, if I'm making this, now I'm making this on comedy, get rid of this and focus on this more, you know? And so I got the hustling out there. So it was a lot of comics went on the first season, so everyone didn't blow up, and so they took the Bernies and they took the Bill Bellamy's and certainly the DLs, and they took them, but some of us didn't take, and so we had to go on the chitlin circuit, really get it in and shit to make a living. But it is what it is, you know. So that's what was on my next move, the chitlin circuit, to make a living. So I was making a living at the time, pretty decent living doing comedy.
Okay. So when did that big break come for you in terms of the movie scene?
Robert Townsend would always see me at the comedy clubs, and at the one Robert Harris was, a comedy theater, and he came to me one day. He said, "Man, I got something for you. I got a movie for you." I knew who Robert Townsend was at the time.
Sure.
Oh, really? Me? He's like, "Yeah, I think I got something for you." I said, "Okay." And then he would see me about 3 months later, a month and a half later, whatever it was. He would say, "Club, I got something for you." I'm like, "All right." The third time, he's like, "I got something for you." Nigga, get about my face with that shit, dude. You got me all amped up and shit, you know what I'm saying? I got something for you. I got something for your ass in a second. You can tell me you got something for me. Shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell everybody, Robert Downey got something for you. Oh, nigga, stayed there 3 times.
Right.
Shit. I don't know what he got for me, but it ain't right. So the last time he said, come to the Beverly Hills Hotel tomorrow, which was a Sunday. And I said, okay, cool. And what happened was I was picked up by a management company around that time, big management company, and I used to do warm-ups for shows that they produced. I did the warm-up for Will Smith, was Fresh Prince.
Okay.
I was a warm-up for, the warm-up, for those who don't know, they do it in front of a live studio audience, and between takes and all that kind of stuff, you gotta keep the crowd going and stuff, so you mess around with people and so forth. And I did that, and they used to produce a show called, my management company called In the House with LL Cool J and Debbie Allen. Okay. Yeah. So I did that. So that was a nice little chump change to be making. I think I made $1,000 a show. I was doing 2 shows a week. 2 different shows. That's $2,000, and that was a lot of money. It's a lot of money now. We're not talking about shit. A pandemic hit a lot of niggas in the head. So a funny story with that is, I was doing the In the House on LL Cool J, and you're on stadium seatings. The seats go up like a stadium like that. So if I'm standing right here, whoever's right here is like chest high. I can't really see their face. So you can see the next person like that. And so this girl was sitting there, and she had a baseball hat down like this, and right next to her was a light-skinned, cute girl too, but a little chunky. And I'm doing jokes, blah, blah, blah. I said, look at you, girl, looking like Halle Berry, SIT DOWN. She was kind of like, I was like, And we're doing it, and then when the show was over and everybody got up, it was Halle Berry next to her with the hat on.
Wow.
I was like, oh, shit, that's Halle Berry. She walked away. I was like, oh, shit. So a week later was when I got the call from Robert telling me coming out to the Beverly Hills Hotel, for the movie. He didn't tell me who the movie going to be. So, all right, I'm just coming. So I get there, and he had an assistant named Charlie, a female named Charlie. So she comes outside to meet me in the lobby. She said, look here, control yourself. We got Halle Berry in the other room. She wants to meet and greet. I was thinking, fuck, I just did that shit to clown her sister, whatever it was. I'm like, I hope she don't remember. This is like 3 days later, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh shit, I think it was on Thursday. This was on on a Sunday.
Wow.
And I walk in, I'm thinking, I hope she ain't gonna be like, oh, not this nigga. Hey, this the one. I'm like, so we sat down in a booth and shit, like a round table, And she was cool, you know, and that girl was with her and shit. It must be an assistant or something like that at the time.
That's crazy.
And they asked me questions about me. They said, where you from, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Still not understanding what's happening, you know, like what we doing here, you know. Just ask me questions. And then it might have came up that they're making a movie, whatever. I didn't feel that. And then Robert Town, like, okay, well, it's good, man. You stopped by. It's nice. I was like, okay, all right. Then what the fuck? I waste my gas and parking and shit. So I went home, and the next day he called me and said, you got the movie, you got the part, and I'm doing a movie called B.A.P.S. You got the part.
Absolutely.
And I was like, oh shit, yeah. And it was so funny. I never told nobody this, but it's funny. I was a wild boy. Even though I was married, I was a wild boy. I was doing the most on the streets, you know, with the girls. And I remember they told me we had to take go see a doctor and take tests and shit. I was like, man, they find I got AIDS or something like that, nigga. And I might just go, I got AIDS on this motherfucker. Like, I ain't want to take no test. No tests over here, motherfucker. This is act and shit. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I never told nobody this. It's a true story. I was like, oh my God. I thought they were going to take a blood test and all that. I just, cough, swab, blah, blah, blah. That's all. I thought they were going to take it. Because you got to go see a doctor. Nigga, I ain't never seen a doctor like that. I'm like, look here, bro. We ain't taking no blood now. We can do everything else but blood, motherfucker. We can talk about whatever else. Yeah. But it was a normal one. I was like, woo. I want my wife to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, hell no, dude. I ain't never told him like that.
That's wild. So what was that? You gotta tell me this experience, man, because you one of the few. I mean, you was with Halle Berry, man.
Hell yeah.
Halle Berry, share the experience, brother.
She was with me, shit.
She was with me.
I ain't gonna devalue my game, nigga.
I know that's right.
I'll tell you something else. So she was going through a divorce with a guy named Dave Justice at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she was kind of a little, quiet. Nothing bad, nothing towards me. She was cool, but she just wasn't, kind of in a trailer and come out with her situation. And I remember in the movie, she was cool. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't so engrossed as Halle Berry. I just wasn't. Not disrespecting her, but just. I'm on the set. I'm happy to just be on working and shit. You know what I'm saying? Me and AJ Johnson, rest in peace, AJ Ezel, who played Ezel on Friday. We were comedians from the circus, so we joining and shit together, hanging out. So it was more us, like frat boys, two boys. When they called us, we come, all right, what you want? And we having fun. We eating shit, looking at people's houses, looking at shit. Me and him acting a fool. So it wasn't me and Halle like that. But I remember I had a kissing scene with Halle Berry.
Yes, sir.
And it was like, the scene was kind of like, I haven't seen the movie in a while, but we kiss. No, I come and see her. They show the old man in the hospital. We start dancing. We show the man in the hospital. We come back. We're closer. We kiss. We go back to the man in the hospital. And then the dude comes out, Stanley, whatever his name. I don't remember his name was. He came out and tells us, come to the hospital, whatever. So that's how the cut was gonna be.
Right.
Well, he was running out of time. He said, "Man, forget the kiss. Just dance and shit like that." You got me fucked up, homie. Robert Town, forget the kiss. Let's just move on. I said, shit. So when I was dancing with her, that's why you see me grab her face like, come on in, girl. Come on in. I thought she might be like, hold on, I thought we said we were going to kiss it.
Right.
I thought she might do that because he said we ain't going to kiss. But she was cool. She gave me that kiss, and that's the only take we did.
Is that right?
There was no whole bunch of, yeah.
You weren't missing that opportunity.
Hell no, I was too close to Halle now, I knew who Halle was at that point when I got close to her.
I know
she
that's
was beautiful, man. She had no flawless, nothing wrong with her. I was like, damn. No pimples, no nothing. I was like, good Lord. Yeah, she was fine. And that was that one kiss we did. And truth be told, the movie's cool. People love the movie. I like that. But like me kissing her made that part for me.
Oh, I'm
for my boys. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Had I not kissed her, they'd be like, oh, you work with Halle Berry? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But once you kiss her, like,
you
whoa.
kiss Halle Berry. That's a different story.
And that was prime Halle Berry. No disrespect to Halle now.
No, that's just being honest. That was Halle Berry.
Hell yeah. Oh, hey. Okay, well, niggas would have killed for Halle Berry back then.
Facts.
Yeah, man.
Big facts.
So, yeah.
So how did your family feel at this point, man? You're in a movie. What was the thoughts then?
Oh man, shit changed. My father, like I said, he was never the show business type of thing. He wanted me to be the government, work in the government, get a job. Mm-hmm. And I remember I would come home at times, fly back to Maryland, D.C. area, and I got a hotel, but I would just hang with him. But as soon as I got to D.C., he like, oh man, come around me. I gotta run an errand. I pick up something. And nigga take me, every nigga where his homeboys were at. I gotta check my tire pressure and shit. Nigga, we gotta go to this garage, motherfucker. You want barbecue rib sandwich? Nigga, rib sandwich. I want a rib sandwich. Let me go ahead and pick up this the cleaners. Everywhere it was someone. And I didn't get it at first. I'm like, yeah, I'm not feel like running around this goddamn town. And he's sitting there and be like, going to a place like, yeah, is my shoes ready? And it's like, that's a comedian, yeah. Oh yeah, that's my son. Don't worry about it. Nigga, you know what it is. It wasn't about the third time I was like, You taking my ass around. You proud, but you don't want to say nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't never told me that you was proud, dude. But he would take me everywhere, man. I would
That's
go,
wild.
yeah.
That's cool, yeah.
That's how I found out.
That's pretty cool, man. So you go B.A.P.S. Now you do How to Be a Player. Tell us a little story about
How to Be the same producers from B.A.P.S. was on did How to Be a Player. A couple of the same ones did that. And like I said, I got B.A.P.S. with Robert Townsend giving me the role. And so How to Be a Player, I had to audition for it. And my girl, shout out to my girl Nikki Gilbert from Brownstone. She was auditioning for it too, but I went to her house the night before and we went through lines over again. That's very important as an actor, get someone to run the lines with and so forth. So I had my lines down packed, I knew them. And the next day I went to the audition and people were sitting in like a regular room. And you know, Elise Neal was my girlfriend in that movie.
Right.
She had just left, you know, she was walking out. I'm thinking, I'm next. All right, thank you, Elise. And then come, you know, Pierre, come on in. And the first read, I killed. They said, hold up. And he ran out and got her before she was about to get in the car. Like, hold on, come back. And she had to come back, and then we read together.
Oh, wow.
And the next thing turned around, that's how that was in the movie, us together.
Wow, that's what's up. So did you do like a lot of rehearsing for these movies? I mean, like, how did you transition from the comedy to learn, you know what I mean, become a real actor?
It's funny. I have, look, I ain't gonna say I'm the most talented actor, but I can act. It's just a God gift. So I don't know how to tell you, you know. One thing, unfortunately, comedians don't do when they act, they don't take breaks and pauses, like real moments, because they're so worried about, because we're so used to doing monologues, not dialogue, you know what I'm saying? Being with two people, you know what I'm saying? So it's always like, so what you gonna do? What you gonna eat? A hamburger. I know the hamburger, like you don't take a pause to listen, like, what you gonna eat? A hamburger. You gonna eat a hamburger? Why would you eat a hamburger? Their line is, you gonna eat a hamburger? Yeah. Why you eat a hamburger? You know, they stumble over the words because they try to get the words out and they're not sitting there taking a pause. And I knew that. I don't know how I knew that. I just knew how to take the moments and stuff.
Okay.
The moments are like, in real life, we stop and talk and listen and say, you know, even you nod in your head. Some actors, some comedians be like, just ready for the next line. What you say, nigga? Make out my face. Like, dude, come on, man, relax, homie. You know, act like you're in the scene. So I don't know. I just had that innate ability. That's how it wasn't hard. It just wasn't hard for me. Yeah, it wasn't hard for me. I would like to get to the point in my career, which I might be there now, if I could, you know, I'm gonna use the word ad-lib, but kind of give it my flair. No matter what, you know, if I feel like a character should do it this way, let me do it this way. You know, people like Sam Jackson do that all the time. Big boys do it like all the time. But when you make me say the exact same word, every fucking word, and I'm not used to it doesn't flow out my mouth, I ain't a great actor like that. But if you give me the idea, I don't care if I'm playing a lawyer or a doctor, but you know, let me have a little grace in the lines. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you give me that, I'll hit a home run. You know, because I know how to act. You know, I know how to act. But if you tell me every single line gotta be said exactly the same way, they say Quentin Tarantino does that. He's the only person to get the ad lib is Sam Jackson. And that great, you gotta say every fucking word exactly like he wrote it. Like, wee.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
So you've accomplished so much. You've done a lot in your career. I mean, you have quite a few credits on everything, and you've hit all the stages across the globe. So what is it that you want to achieve that you haven't done yet?
Really, it's just another level. I can't say, because I wrote my own movies, produced them, directed them. One of them came out. Got 3 of them about to come out now. Slice 1, 2, and 3 on Tubi. I made my own podcast. I made my own little web series called Dating Pierre that people liked. You know, so I've done a lot of it myself, but on a smaller level. I like to get on a bigger level, have more money for a production company to do it bigger. Because, look, I thank my comedian friends for letting me use their talent and stuff like that, but I'd like to pay them, you know, if I could. But, you know, my thing is I can get the whole thing together, camera crew and everything, write the script, but I ain't got no money after that. I can barely pay the crew, the crew to do it. But my friends don't trip. They're like, man, I want to be in it. I just want to be in it. But I like to be a bigger, solid situation. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, and even like I said, they lend me their talent. I appreciate it. But that probably would be my thing, to have a real production company. You know. I do a lot of it myself. The stuff y'all see, I write it, produce it, direct it, edit the shit. You know, maybe I don't sit there and touch the buttons, but I sit with the editor and the movies over here. It's a lot, man. I wish I had a bigger machine that could help me out. You know, but until I get to that point, I'm gonna continue to do it, because one thing, I'm a stickler for perfectionist. I want to make it look good. I remember Robert Townsend found out how I did a movie called For the Love of Money. When Robert Townsend found out how much I made that for, he lost his mind. He said, "What?" He thought it was a couple $100,000. You know, he's like, "We need $300,000-400,000." I was like, "Shit, shot that bitch for $75,000." That was film. Okay, film is different than this. Right now, you can click and take the cut and take, erase the shit you just shot and do it again. Film, once you shot it, you shot it.
Right.
And I remember that, I had to get, it was called recans. Recans are like, let's say a movie, they make a movie, and film comes in different, like 400 foot, 200 foot, 800 foot reels, reels. And they're different, one's from inside, one's from outside. Believe it or not, film has all that kind of stuff. They used to, they don't do film no more. And when you do a big movie, sometimes you might have cans left over that you bought too much for. Well, they give it back to Kodak, and then Kodak sends it to people like me cheaper. So I might use some indoor and outdoor shit for the same scene, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn, And the recans, like, instead of being a 600 reel screw, it might be down to 350, feet inside of that.
Right.
So making a long story short, I got enough, I bought all that, and I got to the point with my actors, I told them, B.A.P., my man B.A.P. was in it, shit. He remembers that. I basically told people, nigga, you got 2 takes. If not, they're gonna see the back of your head, nigga. We're gonna move on. I can't be wasting this shit, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be what it's gonna be. So we're shooting a wide and a close up, so get your shit on now.
Right.
You don't remember that line, you be like, what happened? I hear me talking, but the camera's on someone else. Shit, this film costs, homie. But we did it, though. We knocked it out like in 11 days, I think, 11 days and shit. Yeah, man. They won some festivals and stuff, and people love it to this day. I'm thinking I'm gonna release it on Tubi also.
Okay.
Yeah. It did really well. I ain't make no money. I learned the business, the cutthroat business behind the scenes.
Got you.
That I didn't like. Here's some I learned. So let me see. So I have the movie and I have a distributor. Okay, another film distributor. Me and them cut a deal. Let's say I cut 50-50 deal with you. You're the distributor. I cut 50-50 deal with you. Now, so whatever profits you make is 50-50. After you pay me, they pay me enough to recoup my money.
Okay.
So I was cool with that part. But now I'm looking for the back end, for that good money.
Right.
The back end don't ever come, nigga. So get your money up front, all your money up front.
All your money up front.
So you now make a deal with Sony. I mean, you 50-50, but you and Sony may want 80-20. So after the movie comes, I got to get 20. I'm getting 20%. I'm getting 50% of 20%.
20%, yeah.
I ain't know you make no fucked up deal like that, dude.
Right.
So our little deal's funky as hell.
Right.
So let's say, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
man, I didn't know that. Like, hell no. But I can't control what you're doing.
Right.
I got to deal with you. You're now going to deal with them over there.
Got you.
I'm like, all righty then.
Got
And
you.
that's what I didn't really make no real money on. That's
Got
okay, yeah.
Good learning lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier how you came through the true chitlin circuit, right? But now we're in an industry, we're in a time now where social media is become king. How did you make the adjustment, and how do you feel about this current social media?
Good question. I have no beef with the way the young kids are using social media.
Okay.
Because if I had it in my time, we would have used it. Our social media was Def Comedy Jam and Apollo,
That's right.
and what it was, and they were old heads that didn't like us.
Right.
Right. 50-year-old, 40-year-old comics, like any young kids sagging and flipping on stage and shit on Def Comedy Jam. You know what I'm saying? So it's a generational thing. I understand that. Now, with that being said, I am allowed to say I don't like what you're doing. This is not funny to me. This is corny as shit to me.
Okay.
I'm not mad you're doing it. And if your crowd wants to eat that up, cool. You know what I'm saying? I can't be mad at people who make nowadays because I can't chew them motherfuckers no more, but the kids can. I take out one of my teeth and shit, you know what I'm saying? But when I was a kid, I ate nowadays, you know what I'm saying?
Great analogy.
Just because I can't eat the shit, I can't be mad at them eating it. So
Right.
with that being said, what they want to do, that silly stuff that I wouldn't necessarily do.
Okay.
So I find a couple people who are doing the right, something I could respect and say, okay, that's kind of pretty good. That's a little next level from what I'm seeing. And I gravitate to those and try to help those out. And they want, I'm the OG to them, so they come and work with me and vice versa. I've done something where I said, look, we'll do a scene that you want to do, and I'll do a scene I'm coming up with. You know what I'm saying? And we'll share whatever. So that's kind of how it is. But they feel like, a lot of them feel like the old heads don't like them, which I understand. The old heads say what they say. And then when they meet me, they kind of a little guarded and stuff. It's a little guarded, like to try to help me out on their platforms too, though. You know what I'm saying? They're like, why should I help you, nigga? But I really want to tell them, like, what you have now, it feels good, but it won't last. I don't see it lasting, the silliness of what you're doing. Come with someone like me that can help you structure stuff.
Right.
Structure beginning, middle, end of a scene.
Right.
Because I hope you want to get out of silly skits of just yelling and walking the fuck off. You know, everything is, fuck you, girl. And you walk off a motherfucker this. You know, like, shit, how did it start? How did the scene even fucking start?
Right.
But I don't care if it's a 30-second skit I got. It's going to have a beginning, middle, and end to my shit. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And if you want to move on to movie making, they're not going to do them little 2 lines and run off and scream, whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's no build-up or whatever. And so with that being said, if they want to, you know, learn from me, I'll learn from them. They'll show me how to put the stuff online, how to do that kind of stuff. I'm down for that. I think we should merge with each other. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Especially young black men and women that we're in this business together. They might help each other out. You know. I understand why older cats don't want to do it because it's a lot of energy. You know, everything lowers your testosterone level when you get lowered, motherfucker. Shit, you don't have that same rah 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 to do shit. These young kids be up all night long doing 52 skits and shit. We're like, nigga, you get 2 out of me a week, motherfucker. That's the best you can do. But you know what I'm saying? So that's what the old heads push back. You know what I'm saying? Understood, but you know, this is where it's at now.
Yeah.
So an old head, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You can say, damn these kids if you want to, and be right back at the Chuckle Hut, nigga, okay? And wonder why it ain't selling out. You know what it is? You know what I'm saying? Or you ain't doing no numbers at all, whatever.
Right.
You can't get mad at the system. It's what it is.
It's what it
It's
is.
been tossed up. Learn how to work that system. If you really want to move your career along, this is what it is, because they're not grabbing comedians and putting them in movies no more like they used to. They're more social media people, you know what I'm saying? Or you're an established person already. But just when I was coming up, I remember so many times agents or producers would sit in comedy clubs and watch a comedian.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To say, we got to put him in a movie. We
right.
heard about him. You can see it. You can see all these white people in the hood go at a black comedy club. Like, okay. I remember when Mike Epps did Friday, the first one, you know, I saw Ice Cube and all them come to the Comedy Store. He used to have Fat Tuesday.
Sure.
And he went up there, and I could see all them agents, or Mike, you know, what you call Ice Cube and white people. I know what the fucking was happening here. So they watched him, and he killed. He rocked that motherfucker. I was like, woo-wee. And so about 2 days later, my agent called me and said, there's a script for next Friday, right? Next Friday. I said, I'm not about to read this script. Mike Epps got the movie. No, they didn't pick him yet. They didn't officially pick Mike Epps yet. I'm like, dude, I don't want to read this whole damn script, you know, this whole movie, and then work on some lines to go somewhere, and he already got the part.
Right.
They were like, no, you ain't make a decision yet, go please. Like, oh. So I read the whole script, found what's called what's it? Sides. My sides are a little small scene that you'll read and stuff that you come in there. Had my sides, I got it ready. So the sides was, for those who remember the movie, was when I guess somebody was breaking into a car and he was trying to get his clothes on and put his pants on in the bathroom and in the living room, whatever that was. I think some girl might have been bashing his car.
The girl was breaking,
Okay, so that was the scene. So I come in that sucker and I rocked that motherfucker. I had the line, people were dying laughing and shit. And they called me back. And I was like, all right. And when they called back, the producer wouldn't come in the room, or the director. The director was named Stephen Carr, remember? Look it up, Stephen Carr. He wouldn't come in the room. No, he was there. Ice Cube. Okay, they said the producer wasn't coming in. I was like, come on now, we waiting for that. We're trying to get the producer in. I'm like, okay. I know, it was Ice Cube they're trying to get. I was like, come on. Finally, I had to go to the bathroom. There's 2 other people. We had narrowed down to about 3 people. Somebody from New York, and another person, and me. Okay. So I said, I got to go to the bathroom because it was like an hour late. You know, I'm like, man, come on, let's get this. That's my second call back. So I went into the bathroom. As I was going to the bathroom, I saw some people trying to talk to Ice Cube. I had one of my movie I made called For the Love of Money. My location manager, somebody that he was working on that same project. Oh, wow. And he saw me, looked over at me, and I saw him and said, what's up? And I saw him trying to talk to Ice Cube, and Ice Cube was looking, and he looked over at me, and I looked at him, and I went to the bathroom. I realized that's what they were trying to bring in. So I get there, and they're like, don't worry about the producer, just read again. This, you did for the first time, just do another read. And so I read it, and I did well, because that Monday, I was at the Comedy Store, the Improv, they did a thing called Mo Monday Monday. And some chick came to me, she said, you are funny. I saw you on video. You were funny as hell. And I thought it might be like a music video. I didn't know what it was, from a music video. I said, thanks. She said, no. I said, yeah, you funny. You really good. I said, thank you. I said, what'd you see me on? She said, you came in audition for next Friday. I said, oh, shit. She said, oh, you were funny in there. I said, all right, cool. I thought I might get it. I said, oh, shit. And then when I saw Ice Cube, I was mad. I mean, not Ice Cube, Mike Epps. I was like, dang, I had to read this shit. I told y'all, I ain't picked this. Fucking asshole. I don't want to read all that shit. Mm-hmm.
So you've gotten into podcasting now, like you mentioned earlier, man. How did that start, and what's your feel on it? And between that and comedy hype and things of that nature.
Yeah. So I've been asked to do a podcast for a long time.
Okay.
I'm opinionated, whatever you want to call it. I ask questions. People just in regular conversation. My comedian friends like, man, you be good at a podcast. You do a podcast. You should do a podcast. And back then it was kind of a little corny to me, you know. No disrespect, but it was two microphones on a table. That was it. I was like, I don't want to do that. A white table. Like, this don't look fun and shit.
Right.
You know, I'm more pizzazz, you know. And some places didn't have backgrounds. You know what it was when it first started.
Right.
And I was like, nah, I don't really feel that. So for years, people kept asking me. Then I got a job working for Comedy Hype. They it's Comedy Hype. It's like a black platform. We talk about comedy, you know, a lot of stuff. And they interviewed me, a one-on-one interview, and they liked how real I was, just in an interview. They called me back and said, I want you to, you know, we got a show idea. It's kind of like a First Take, you know, ESPN First Take.
Yeah.
And we want you to be like Stephen A. Smith. You know, we say, you're the one going to talk the shit, probably. And so, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I wound up working for them. And I was working for them and had a nice little studio. And about a year later, I started thinking, well, you know, they had a back room, a podcast room. I said, you know what? Let me try this. So I went back there, and every week I literally had to take the equipment, all the stuff out the room. I had to flip the room because it had to be shot a certain way. There was, you know, couches and shit. So I would bring stuff, I bought stuff for it. And for a year, every week I would come and pull shit out. And they were really proud of me. They were like, damn, dude. The owner was like, man, you really getting it in, brother, for a year. So he said, let's do it in a bigger room.
Okay.
And he said, I said, okay, cool. I wanted more like a Tonight, like a late night show with curtains and shit like that, and make it look cooler like that instead of what we had and stuff. And he was like, get rid of the girls and the topical stuff, you know. Just people want to hear you talk to the guests. I was like, I didn't want to get rid of my girls, my little co-hosts and shit like that. I was like, So I said, all right. I told him, hold on, I got to try this with him. You know, he's putting some money behind this to do this. And when I tell you, the first couple of months, I got 8,000 to 10,000 new subscribers.
Wow.
It was moving. I was like, damn y'all girls. Fuck y'all. I was trying to give girls chances on my shit. I was like, fuck that. And so I started doing one-on-one, and I saw people started liking that.
Yeah.
And the good thing was in the beginning, I used a lot of people who were my friends, who I knew, even famous people
Sure.
that I had a relationship of some sort. And so the cool thing I think with mine is, one is I'm not, and I'm saying where I'm not afraid to ask questions. I won't do that, but because there's some questions I won't ask. You know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to embarrass you, you know, but I'm going to ask some questions. You know, I can push the envelope a little more than the average person because we have a friendship of some sort.
Right.
And then I can talk about stuff that only me and you know about. Like we were on tour together. I'm like, remember that time we did that other barbecue bar? And people started liking that. Like it's different than, so how long you been doing comedy? Where are you from?
Right.
Blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that much like that. It was more personal stuff.
Gotcha.
And I think people gravitated to that and was like, man, this is kind of cool. You know, and it started doing well that people started saying, I want to come on. And I'm like, you know, at first I had, you know, just, you know, I was surprised they were coming on. I was like, you come to my show?
Right.
When T.I. came up, I said, really? You coming to my show? And they would come, and one bigger guest begets another bigger guest.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? When they start seeing that, and they say, all right. And so now it's not as hard to get, people want to do it, it's got to be the right time. For something, you know, It's timing, because I'm getting them come in. I ain't zooming them.
Right.
They're coming in.
Right.
And that's a whole different beast of asking somebody to leave their house to come into your studio to do the thing for you.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? On some love, too. And we got a studio in L.A., so I had to sometimes get L.A. people and sometimes here. But it can be daunting. And I think I've exhausted most of my friends and relationships, so now I got to find somebody who can, like a person that's like connect, who can go out and get some other people who I may be a fan of, but I don't have no relationship with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would DM people. I'm raw dog. I DM a nigga, what up? I got a podcast. You want to come? What, Pete? I'm telling you, I'm still overwhelmed when people say yes. I'm like, you really? I just had Ralph Tresvant on my thing. You know. Now we did a little tour, like a couple of dates back on New Edition back in '98.
Okay.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I DM'd him about a year ago. He said, I remember you. Oh yeah, Pete. And I'll call it humbled or shocked when people know me. I'm like, you really know me? Like, nigga, of course. And I know y'all say, you've been around forever. I just don't think everybody knows me like that.
Wow.
Like famous people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know who the hell I am? Like, yeah. I was like, okay. I mean,
you only played in some of the big cult classic
I know,
movies.
but I don't know
brother.
if they watch those movies, man. I don't know if they watch those movies. If Sam Jackson knew who I was, I'm like, you know who I am? In fact, he almost could have known me because what was that movie he did? What was it? Jackie Brown. You remember a movie called Jackie Brown? So what happened was I got to audition for that, and I went in and I killed it. It was Quentin Tarantino and a guy named Lawrence Bender, his producer, was there in the room, and a lady named Jackie Brown Carmen, who was a black cast director. She was in the room. So I had to do that, and I had to do the scene. Do you remember the movie at all? A little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
You remember when Chris Tucker came out and they put him in the trunk and all that kind of
Yeah.
shit? Okay, so I auditioned for that part there. And so when I came in there, I looked normal like this. I took a hat off. I had my do-rag came down. I put my beeper on and shit. I look like I had a wife beater on and shit. I made a little joint, put a little fire on, like a little orange or yellow shit. I was ready.
Right.
So I'm talking to him with the scene, smoking a joint, and Quentin Tarantino, he liked the N-word.
Yeah.
Because I said nigga like one time. He was like, nigga, what's up? Nigga, you good? Nigga, you good? I'm like, hold up, nigga. Ain't that many niggas in this motherfucker. But okay. Well, yeah, we gonna have a nigga-thon on, going on right now. This is on now, nigga. I almost want to say cracker for a second. Hold up, cracker, watch your mouth. But, he was going with it, right? And the funny thing was, we're talking and stuff, and I'm killing the scene. And I had a little fake drum. Like, yeah, man, come on, man. I want to get in that trunk on it. And he said, man, give me this money. He took it, and this motherfucker had some white, milky lips and shit. He like, he gave it back to me. I was like, ooh, I'm done with this motherfucker. Hey, this scene could be over. I ain't about to hit this no more. This motherfucker took my damn joint and put it in his mouth. I was like, at least wipe the white shit on the side of your mouth off, and then motherfucker take this token shit. But he took the motherfucker, he was so into the scene too.
Wow,
and I ad-lib past the part of getting into the trunk. I was like, nigga, I told him, I said, man, I ain't getting in that trunk. That was ad-libbing because it's almost over the scene. I said, man, don't be hitting no damn potholes and shit. I know an easy way I know the route. The route should take 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Don't be riding around LA and blah, blah, blah. And so I left, and my agent was like, my manager was like, man, I talked to Jackie Brown. I think you got the role. They loved you in there. They loved you. And I said, yes. And then, so for like, he still got to audition other people. And so, and Chris Tucker at the time, he did Money Talks and some other some big shit. I don't think he had done Rush Hour at that time, but whatever. And so I remember, I pretty much had it. They called like a week later. My manager would call her again, Jackie Brown. I said, no, they ain't really looking at. I think he got this. I was like, yes, I'm a Quentin Tarantino motherfucking movie. Hell yeah! And one night I was flying back from somewhere, and we had landed in Arizona. I was flying to L.A. So I was flying, from Chicago to Arizona, and Arizona to L.A. In Arizona, they used to do red-eye flights. Gabriel Cassius, an actor named Gabriel Cassius, he was a really good actor. He was doing a movie called Buffalo Soldiers in Arizona, but he's coming back. And so I thought I had the part, and I don't mind sharing, especially when I think I got the part. I don't give a fuck, So I told him about the movie. I said, yo, man, I got this part. I mean, I'm not the part. So I'm doing this. I said, there's a part in a new Quentin Tarantino movie. And I knew it was, what's her name? Jackie, what was the lead? What's the lady name? Old school actress. Pam Grier. Pam Grier was in it. I knew Samuel Jackson was in it. I think I might know De Niro was. He said, oh, yeah, I know about that movie. That movie with Sam Jackson, De Niro, Chris Tucker.
Wow.
I read that script, nigga. I don't know. I'm like, read that. I'm like, what part of Chris Tucker? What little part of Chris Tucker?
Wow.
So I got home with red eye, like 1 in the morning. I called my manager. I said, oh, yo, this nigga said Chris Tucker in the movie? He was like, yeah, I ain't want to tell you. They passed on you and went with Chris.
Wow.
That nigga got Money Talks. He only got a little ass scene. What is wrong with you, Chris? Big bank take little bank.
Big bank.
He took it from me. I was like, shit. He wanted to work with De Niro and Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
And so that's a little some people.
Wow, that's crazy.
Ain't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I was like, damn.
So Pierre, talk about your book.
Oh yeah. I got a new book. I got the book about out. It's called My 100 Homies and Phonies of Hollywood. Yeah, that's right, man. I know a lot of homies and some phonies up in this mother. Okay, in Hollywood. I spent 11 years in Hollywood, on the ground, as I was telling you. Met a lot of people.
Sure.
A lot of people were cool. Some people were asses or whatever. And so I just do a tell-all book. The first 34 pages is about my life. Kind of some stuff we talking about growing up in Germany and how I got into comedy and all this kind of stuff. And then after that, it goes into, it's like an index that you can pick whoever you want to read about. Each chapter is a celebrity. And some of the people have read the book, like Gabrielle Union. She remembers the stuff I talked about this. Steve Harvey put me on his show because he remembered the part I talked about this in there.
Oh, wow.
So on this morning show, I wound up doing like 8 morning shows. That's how I started back in 2010. So yeah, so it's just a book, funny stories. If you like the way I talk, and I write the same way.
Gotcha.
This nigga here, what the hell you talking about? So if you know my voice, people really love the book when they read it. And it's funny. It's not a dog book where I'm dogging everybody out like that. But I'll tell you, if someone was funky to me, how I felt. Maybe we became better friends after time. When you're in Hollywood and you're trying to make it, a lot of egos and insecurities happen in Hollywood. People think I gotta make it. If I don't make it today, if I don't get this movie, I ain't gonna make it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of that is, and it's really not that true. And people lose themselves out there. You hear drugs, suicide, all kind of shit. How you get so commit suicide? Y'all don't understand the pressures out there. They pressure you into buying a big house, and then your movie don't work or your sitcom don't work, and now you got the big ass payments, and you think, oh, I look like a loser if I lose my house. All that psyche, and I ain't doing working because all our stuff is in front of the public.
Absolutely.
If you were unfortunate to lose this club, we might know this, but the comedians,
Right.
the rest of the people don't know that in the mall, and they say, "Hey, you lost your damn club, nigga, what have you?" So that's the way people don't realize in Hollywood. And I just felt like I started becoming someone that my parents didn't raise. I just didn't enjoy it as much. I saw a lot of pain and hurt in Hollywood. I could see a friend of mine, "How you doing?" "Hey, I'm good, man." Yeah, I could tell they weren't good. And I was like, you know what? So I decided to move to Atlanta after that. After 11 years, because it was becoming a new Black Hollywood. And I know I got a mean penmanship. To me, I can write some good stuff, and I can write scripts. I had made that movie in Hollywood, the one for the Love of Money, when I told you I made. And I said, you know what, man, why don't you just come to Atlanta, and do it there? And I came in in 07. You know what I'm saying? Before really big time, like it is now. And the thirst for people wanting to work, a lot of talented people were here. I was like, what? Locations. That's back then. You could put a camera up anywhere and start filming.
Right.
Niggas let you they come on in the store. I'll tell you a funny story, a little small story. This is when Barack Obama was going against McCain. That would be the second time. No, not McCain. Was it Mitt Romney the second time? I was filming a movie called Slice, one of my Slice, my third one, up in the mountains of here, Georgia. Mm-hmm. And the mountains, you don't see this.
Sure.
Nigga, it's a whole different Georgia, nigga. When you take your car 30 minutes outside of Atlanta, okay? And I took an hour and a half time, so you know how much farther that is. So this girl took me one night to like a cabin for just one nighter, whatever, a night, jacuzzi and all that kind of shit. I looked at the thing. I said, you know what? I could do part 2, 3 of my movie in something like this. So I started writing about that cabin, using that cabin as the thing. But I got the script done, so I decided to go up and ask the guy who, we stayed at, the owner, yo, can we use this cabin? He's like, yeah, well, if you pay for it, like 2 nights or whatever, you can use it however you want. So I did that. But I needed a store, like a convenience store where everybody kind of meets up in the beginning of the movie to go up there. And at the bottom of the hill, there was one. Redneck, overhauls, all that shit. So I get up to the top of the mountain, and I say, damn, I need a store, like a store around here I could use? This white guy's he's not a country white guy. This guy's not a country white guy, regular-ass white guy. He said, yeah, there's a store down, 10 miles down the street at the end, by the bottom, you can ask them. I'm like, oh, ask them. Oh, ask Willie. He just asked Willie, and say you can use the store. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. He said, man, I drove down the bottom of the hill because that's how I'm getting back to in Atlanta.
Right.
I stopped in, and I go in there, and everything you can imagine. They playing cards. They see me walk in. I'm like, I'm looking around. I was like, oh, God. And when I want something, I'm bold, So I said, can I speak to the owner here? In the room back there. All right, can I speak to him? Big ass fucking overalls, and went in there. I was like, oh my God, this ain't gonna be right. This ain't gonna be good. He goes in there, he comes out, and I said, yeah. I said, I told people I do, whenever I want to use somebody's spot, I told them I do a PSA. Public service announcement. That's all I'm shooting. A little public, for black kids to stay in school.
Right.
All right. So I told him I'm doing a PSA. I said, yeah, I need to film here, man. I'm shooting up the top of the mountain of the cabins and stuff, the overlook cabins, called overlook cabin. And I said, we're shooting I'm gonna make a date, like December 18th through the 20th. And the 21st, I need to, I would like to use this place right here. And he was like, all right, you need it for 21st? No problem. I'm thinking, do I got a Omni shirt on, motherfucker? What the fuck I got? It was so easy. He's like, come on, yeah, no problem. I was like, wow. You really gonna let me use your place without being like, nigga, what you doing? Like, hell no. My mind was just thinking, we remember where we at. We're in the Georgia mountains.
Right.
He was like, no, okay, come on in. And so I would go home and getting ready, planning this movie. And I would one time I went back up there just to make sure everybody's clear, the dates and everything. And I went in there and he told me, this is like a month later, he said, yeah, man, we're selling the place.